8 rounds defending when we saw them on this map yesterday against T1. They did win the pistol, but then went on to lose round 2. Because T1, well, they do those things. They're very aggressive. But this is going to be sheer aggression onto the B site, and Lasky's going to go down. Sam gets the trade, but here comes Mitch to clean things up. F is going to be on the other side just to make things a little bit more difficult, and he'll get, unfortunately, taken down by Relics, and now the spike goes down, GB.
That all comes out because of Jet, right? Jet's able to fly in and disrupt timings. So they were not prepared to take the fight against the Jet on that ledge. And that was the reason why Tens, like he always does, throws off the entirety of this roster. Superman tried to get his best frag over there on the flank, but it ended up going over to the other side. Poise, though. Poise had a hot start at the beginning of that bind game, and we were really singing his praises, but it does not seem to be the case this time around. Cloud9 will walk away with a pistol round win to start things off.
And you're completely right. It's made easy when you've got a Jet dashing into sight, fearless and prepared to kind of take those first bullets. Like, live or die, it doesn't matter. You've got onto that site. You've managed to force those players back deep onto B. And once they're deep onto B, you can surround them. You can swarm that site and take them down. And after the spike had been planted and they had the man advantage, well, things were easy from that point. And it looks like they might just try and do the same thing again.
Yeah, they're going to do it again. There's no reason for them not to, because this fast aggression, this is a thing of beauty. I mean, everything that they're doing, it's just clicking. A notable thing from the game yesterday when they faced T1, no one was running Jet. And I do think that Jet is kind of a neutralizer for the composition that this team, Homeless, is running. Because the timings, as I said in the previous round, are going to get thrown off completely.
I think if you are going to play without a Sage, you have to be fast, because you can't allow yourself to just kind of peek every now and then, let your opponents chip away at your health total, and then decide to push to a site elsewhere when you're all going to be weak, or you can have a couple of players weak. Instead, take the game to your opposition. Say, we don't care about your Sage, we don't care where you are. We have what we feel, better agents. We have more to offer in terms of fragging power, flashing ability, utility. And that's exactly what we're seeing here, is just the aggression. And yes, okay, it's only pistol round and round 2. But I have a feeling that this might be the style that Cloud9 try throughout the entirety of this game.
So then how does this team respond? They don't necessarily have agents that could slow things down. Sam isn't getting an opportunity to set up and use some shock bolts to maybe apply some early damage. Perhaps that could be what they're aiming for this time, but the look is going to change now. They're bringing this over to A. You got a 3-sack here in A lobby. They are going to back away from this, so a good read there from Poise at the start.
I think that Homeless could do with just showing a little bit more aggression in certain areas. But they won't be able to do that until they get a little bit more comfortable with their money.
Yeah, but they did that last game and it just cost them dearly. Like,
but it's
Superman got aggressive,
now.
It just didn't work. It's true.
Without the Sage, as I was saying, like, I mean, you just have to try and do a little bit of damage to the health total. But Sam and Superman, okay, they're holding a little bit better now. Superman will get a second, and he's starting to look like the Superman of old, the Superman of yesterday. Doesn't need to make it 3 because Def is there to support, and this should be a comfortable round for them. In a round that they should have won anyway because of the weapons that were available on the side of Cloud9. But now that's going to give them a little bit of more comfortability in this game. I don't know if comfortability is a word, but I've made it now, and I'm going to own it.
We'll look at Webster's. We'll find out. I'm sure there. I've heard that one used a few times. Comfortability. Say it 5 times fast. I don't think I can. I knew Moses was going to do it. Just baited you into it, Moses.
Comfortability. Noun. The condition of being comfortable. There we go. See, I'm not so stupid.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
I'm happy for you, man.
Well done for me, eh?
And I'm, you know, and well done for Homeless. They were able to stop this fast, aggressive play. They stopped the A rush. That really started at the beginning when Poise dropped that molly, so they weren't able to get that timing all out of whack the way that they've been benefiting from it on B site. Perhaps this time around, they're going to change things up, go back over to B. But they save that op for this next round. Economy-wise, though, should be all right for a few buys here.
Something we saw Mitch doing yesterday was being more than happy to kind of get aggressive into a B main here. Whether it be with an op, whether it be with a rifle, he says, look, you guys go wherever you want. I don't care if I'm a Sage, I'm going to try and get an early pick here. Because if I can get that early pick and get that information, then we can push willy-nilly wherever we may want. He's going to do the same thing again. You can see on the left-hand side of your screen, he had a little nosy towards B main, but no one peeked as Def takes down Tens, and that is the perfect way to start a round. Eliminate the entry fragger. Here comes Superman to chime in as well.
So even though Superman does get killed by relics, they get the benefit of this one. And also, this is the benefit of those smokes. They control where the enemy team's going to go. They have those options. And they just play to those strengths that have really worked out for them when we saw them play the same map against T1.
A little bit more slow now.
Ooh, Poise gets on top. He got on top. Oh, what a play. Oh, Poise threats 3. Wow. What a play. He did not anticipate him to be able to get on top of the wall. And then the paranoia came right at that exact moment and gives Poise all those kills.
I think that takes me back to the real difference between having a Sage and not having a Sage, and having certain utility that's available or not available. Poise just being able to be there as this flashing character alongside the Omen, who has a flash, the paranoia of his own. If they can kind of sync up together, then that can be very detrimental on the opposition side. The Owl drone will come out to scout out B main and scare away Mitch from trying to get that early little peek, as the rest of Cloud9 are going to be heading towards A, and we are going to see the ult popped for Tens. Does have double updraft as well. We saw what he was able to do yesterday with the double updraft over the arch to try and get the peek onto anyone in heaven. I wonder whether he'll go for something similar here.
Well, Mitch will have to get around to him, because what worked there was the fact that they have that wall.
Of course, yeah.
And Mitch is holding the angles on mid with that op. More smokes down, and things start to delay. And as the rounds go on, and I know that C9's going to wait for just a burst through the archway, I do like Homeless's chances, because you allow Homeless to set up, and I think they thrive in those scenarios. Here we go now. The push is going to come. Tens is inside of sight. Gets the kill on the run it back, knows exactly where Poise was going to be located. Oh, Tens, though, only has a classic to his name, and he's going to be right underneath him. Depp and Psalm get the kills there, but Shinobi with the shock bolt from all the way at distance. And his Psalm wrapped around on the scaffolding. He's going to pay for his life with that one. Lasky, last player left alive, will get called out. And watch out on the flank there, bud, because Mitch is on the hunt. And Mitch will most definitely be the one to secure this kill as soon as Lasky gets it. And there it is. The op returns right back to the hands of Mitch. He's all right with that.
It's all on that. It's a thrifty, and it's all down to Tens really with his ult. Just again being really aggressive, pushing into the site, dashing in to ensure that there was no sort of cypher traps to hold up the rest of the team, and then knowing exactly where that run it back was from the Phoenix. You understand why Poise is gone for that play, but as soon as Poise dies there to the daggers, he is hopeless, and no one else was there to protect him. They still have money though, Homeless, so it's not too detrimental to their economy. Because again, we're going to get a little bit of a Sova off here on the B side, as both using any sort of utility they have to offer to try and scout the other out.
Some will be able to get around, but gets the look. All right, so it's indication as to where Mitch is going to be located. I do wonder if that was an intentional, because Mitch was there the entire time, actually. Didn't really poke out. Sometimes with these players, they're always just looking to play little mind games with each other.
Oh, for sure. I mean, even if it's just enough to keep one player at B site, that helps out the rest of the team, as Vice has got 2 and has neural theft now.
Yeah, well, No mind games needed when you know exactly where the enemy team is going to be located. 10's pushed out all the way here. Som now will meet 10's, as a matter of fact, because Som was on top of the scaffolding and 10's waited for the perfect moment to jump through that glass and punish Som. Relic's in the mid, looking for anyone that could be pushing around in the transfer there, maybe getting out of that spawn. It will be a push through the dark cover potentially. I think he might actually take advantage of that one. They're looking for them because they want to take these guns away. They have the time to work with. Oh boy, Lasky. Lasky needs to be careful. Although Def wins his battle, Lasky will not be the same. And now it is all down to Def to just hold on to this Vandal. Won't be able to do so. The numbers too great. And they get what they want out of that. They remove the guns away from their opponents. Don't allow them to be able to hold on to anything. And that is going to make their economy that much more of a problem for Homeless.
Big problem. Lasky 0-4. Just hasn't been able to get going here, and their money is all over the shop. And that's why we're just going to see a half by here, a couple of Spectres maybe to work with. It's going to be very difficult to now stop this economy rolling for Cloud9. It's going to be comfortable for them to buy up round after round. Mitch is always looking for that early pick B, but then he transitions to mid to see if anyone's going to be facing it short. There is a little bit of aggression from Homeless. They've pushed up at both sides. Cloud9, they expected this. They're waiting for this. Oh.
Ooh, okay, Superman. I respect that. That's 2, but the trade out there. So we got same bodies and advantage because that's what Sage does. Bringing your teammate back into the battle. Som lines up, though, onto Mitch. While that's going on, though, 10's does manage to body one over by the tree. Lasky with a classic and a dream. And that is a very, very ambitious shot there. It does not work out for him.
This is going to be 5-2. Realistically, as we're going to see Som again just show us what he has to offer with the Ares. He was able to do a little bit of success with it. We even saw the Odin get broken out earlier in the game between TSM and Sentinels too. I mean, having a Sova with an Odin on a map like Ascent where there's so many walls to just smash through and be banged on the other side.
Very fun.
Very fun indeed.
Fun for Sinatra.
It was.
Not fun for TSM.
Look, money's still just ridiculous now. Like, there's so much bank balance that they should be comfortable for 2, maybe even 3 rounds at this point, even if they're dropping. So, it's going to be very difficult to rescue this half for Homeless. I'm just wondering, like, what would they be comfortable with? What would they be happy with at this point? I know they looked really good attacking against T1, but they had already had the, like, very aggressive and very successful defensive half that kind of teed them up for that success.
Oh my
and there's
word.
Mitch right between the eyes of Lasky.
Here.
What a shot there. I feel as if Mitch has just been conditioning them more and more every single round, right? He would hang out back. He wouldn't get too aggressive. He would play around it. He would go back over to that little hut that's there right by on B site. You know, just giving him new looks. And I think this time around they were like, okay, I think we can push. But that went right into Mitch's hands. Shinobi does do some damage there to Def. Mitch is already, or 10's, excuse me, is already going to be on the site. You heard there the From the Shadows come out. But the kills are actually going to be working out here for Homeless. Right through the cyber cage there. Well done. Only player left alive is going to be Shinobi. So despite the great start that this team had, Def is going to be meeting him around the corner here in Shinobi versus Def. And Def just backs out of this one. Shinobi, though, waiting to see if he actually pushes this. He threw the gun down. Maybe to give them the cue as to, you know, him pushing around it. But they were a little wise to that one there. Again, those mind games that these players like to run with.
Lasky is 0-6, not looking particularly comfortable on the Omen. Does still have the op. I do prefer Lasky on the Raze. I just feel like when you go from playing Raze, where you have so much information to be gathered from your boombot, to then playing an Omen, where you kind of have to rely on flashes and almost blind peeking comparatively to the boombot, which almost works as like a little bit of an entry fragger for you. You can find it very difficult to transition between those two agents. He did it better a little bit. He did it a little bit better yesterday than he is today. But still plenty of rounds for him to make up for things, and maybe he can be influential with his op here now at 5-3.
Even yesterday, Lasky was struggling. He went 8-13 despite the win against T1. So perhaps it just could be a case of Omen just not really agreeing with him, which is a possibility. Tens. Oh, if that would have worked out, he would have been a genius, but he just didn't have enough airtime.
But he already is a genius.
He is, yes, this is true. These are facts.
But he is always just trying to think outside of the box, but he goes right into crosshair of Superman. Superman, his aim looks a little bit better. He looks a bit more comfortable on Ascent than he did on Bind. And I think that's very important for Homeless. If they are going to have a chance of getting back into this series and maybe even winning this series, a lot rides on Superman, I feel. Him and Def, I think you mentioned it before this game started, they were the two that were slacking a little bit on Bind. And I know that's tough. When you're a Brimstone and you're a Cypher, it's not always easy to pick up kills if you are being picked off at the start of the round.
Oh, nice kill there, Orbital Strike. One thing you love to see when you're a Brimstone main is getting a kill with your Orbital Strike. Poise does manage to dink. This was going to be, I think it was just Relics that got onto site. Vice with 2. Superman, though, around the corner. Superman gets 4, but now needs to get onto the site. Does have enough time. Som on top of the generator and manages to clutch this one out. He looked like he was going to get on top of the generator and then go for the kill above, but he didn't quite nail the jump. He had Lasky there to back him up, but Lasky still without a kill. Maybe he could have given that one to his buddy. I don't know, but it's okay.
Just give him that confidence boost as a
Give him one, you know?
Lasky, go on, you go get it,
No
buddy.
one wants to be a baker. No one wants to open up a donut
No one wants
shop.
to be 007, which is a possibility for Lasky. No assists, no kills. He's going to be James Bond if he's not careful.
Can't believe I remember that.
Wasn't expecting you to sing it, if I'm going to be completely honest, or hum it. I guess that was more of a...
I have a magical voice. Even though my voice is kind of rough right now because of my VOs. I'm telling you, sometimes I nail it. Oh, speaking of nailing it, Tens nailed that first shot, gets first blood, and there's Relics as well to have his teammates back.
That does mean Lasky is 0-7. That's yeah, that's not a very good start, but I guess he won't mind if he's still able to watch the rest of the team pick up a 5th round, because at 5-5 this suddenly looks a lot better than what it did earlier.
It does.
It's looking like Cloud9 were going to run away with things, but it's been the A hold that has been quite strong for Homeless. Superman has been stepping up, Def alongside him, and it's done some real work. Now here comes the push onto way.
Saw him with a cheeky recon bolt. Will give him information that a few players are going to be pushing out, and gets a kill out of that one too. Watch out for Tens though. Once this smoke comes out and it dissipates, Tens will have the angle on anyone that pushes this. And there he goes. Oh, but Superman is going to get the better of Tens there. That's a bit of a shocker. Poise now going to push this one forward. Superman goes down courtesy of Vice now. Poise continuing to play around this ledge. Does not obtain the kill. It's Shinobi instead. And we're at 6-4, but you are right, Gaskin. Even despite that loss, things are still looking up here for Homeless.
I mean, I hate to single out Lasky again, but when you're 0-6, now 0-7, you need to be rethinking about where you're going to be watching. Like, if you're not confident in your shot, and if now you're aggressively facing to try and make up for all those deaths, maybe drop deeper on the site. Don't be that first pick. Don't be the reason that your team loses a round, because otherwise then the conversation is going to be had between the team of like, hey, well, what if Lasky didn't die there? Would we have done a little bit better?
I have the spike.
I think if Lasky starts getting some more frags and them putting together the rounds that they have been able to do so in this half, despite some of the shortcomings that they've experienced, I don't feel that bad about what Homeless is doing against Cloud9. They just need some players to step it up here.
Yeah, I think if they can pick up 5 rounds, Homeless will be happy. 7-5 isn't too bad on a defensive side on Ascent. I know we've seen some big swingy games on Ascent where everyone will argue, is it an attacking-sided map? Is it a defensive-sided map? And to be honest, I think it just comes down to practice and how successful people can attack on Ascent and how much time they put into these executes. Or it's going to come down to who's on fire, who's hitting their shots, who's winning those 1v1 engagements. And in the early stages of this game, it was Cloud9. Now we've seen Homeless step up for a couple of rounds.
Ooh, this could be a big paranoia. And it actually ends up not lining that one up. We stepped away for a second. I didn't tell if that animation was paranoia or if it was dark cover. Perhaps it was dark cover. Either way, though, doesn't matter. What does matter is that Superman is going to get that first blood. Orbital Strike is now going to be available to him. Forces back to Cypher. So no presence there for Vice. Just going to be backed away for a little bit. More time delaying too, which is the scarier part. Man. Unfortunately for Lasky, he is continuing to struggle here. Mitch with an angle at the windows. We'll see anyone coming through this mid-market. He's watching around the flanks as well in case anyone's there, but no one will be. Had Lasky been able to get a kill, that actually could have given him an opportunity. To just delay that, and then they can push in, right, with some more time. Mitch, though, he's just doing the job here. Slow orb as well, gets another one. Mitch, oh, Mitch with an ace. That's why you signed him. That right there.
One of the best Sages we've seen in quite some time. Definitely put him up there with the likes of David P for having that ability to be aggressive, to be that battle Sage that we talk about. And I mean, I wonder whether they are targeting Lasky a little bit. Once they suss out where he is, they know he's been playing B site. I mean, that opening frag from Mitch was great. Obviously boosting himself up and then spotting Lasky right deep back in Boathouse. Lasky did suss it out and he went for the dark cover, but didn't really work out. Mitch had already got his crosshair placement, knew exactly where Lasky was. I mean, the ace was almost looked simple. You know it's not simple.
Yeah.
The fact he was able to just pick them off one by one there. Phenomenal.
Just very clean. This time around, though, they will take out Mitch, which has been a plus for them. A counter paranoia 2 does work out. Relics just had to bounce on out of there or else he would have ended up falling. We'll retrieve this spike right back in their hands. And then they're going to go over to plan B now. So we tried to get inside of that B site. They sent all the bodies there that was necessary, and they won that battle. They're going to be looking to win the war here on the half.
And with the two-man advantage, if I'm Lasky, I'm going searching for kills. I do not want to finish a half without a kill. Otherwise, I would just not only be scared about my teammates and how they're going to shout at me, but I would not be happy with my individual performance as Superman takes down Vice. Here comes Tenzo, and well, okay, poised. He cleans those two up.
He's a team player. He's all right with that.
It's going to be 7-5. And yeah, Lasky's not going to care if they win the game, right? But at the same time, I'm sure he'll be looking at his performance right now and saying, how different could this half look if I have been picking up kills? Even though kills aren't everything, no kills is definitely something that we should be highlighting. And I'm going to stop highlighting now because I don't want to pick on Lasky and kind of like put him as the reason why there's rounds being lost for Homeless. But that is, you've got to do better than that. I'm sorry, but after 12 rounds, not finding a kill, that isn't good enough at this standard of play.
But what a turnaround for Superman. That guy was bottom fragging, struggling on buying. Now 15-9. He's been really contributing and picking up the slack, if you will, that has been helping out this team and keeping them competitive in this matchup. Their tournament life is on the line here, people. If they don't win this, that's it. They're done.
The glory run is over after getting through the group of death and beating 100 Thieves and then taking down T1 in the quarterfinals. They still have one half to get back into things and take this to a best of 3. It's definitely not over yet. Lasky is going to be the first point of entry here. Does have the paranoia to use as the flash, but there is going to be a few players spotted out as B site is going to be comfortably swarmed and taken as Cloud9 opt to just go for the retake here. All 5 of them just swarming the site now.
That was a great shock bolt, by the way, on which they won't recover any health. They got 3 members on their team that are going to be a little weakened. Few on the opposite side too, but the advantage there is that they will have a Sage in case they're able to use it. I don't even think the heal is going to matter all that much. Tens, though, locates a kill onto Poise. That was going to be happening right within that dark cover. As Tens creeps forward here, players are not going to be paying attention to him. He manages to get right on through there. Another kill, and that is going to do it. a retake that was just a swarm, a Zerg rush.
This is something I think that we need to see more often from teams. When you recognize that there is going to be a 5-man rush, 5-player rush from any site in these early rounds, if you are on a site on your own, or even if there's just 2 of you, rather than necessarily trying to face it, just take your losses and say, okay, well, why don't we just sit back, give them a site, let's all group up and take a 5 versus 5 fight instead of a 2 versus 5 fight. I know that in some scenarios it's going to be better for at least one person to face and try and get that information, try and get a couple of bullets in to do some damage, but in that scenario, it really worked out. And when you're playing this well as a unit, which Cloud9 are, I can completely understand why they want to make it a 5 versus 5 rather than being a player down.
Here.
There goes Def. A big kill there. Shinobi, Ares, hello, my friend. It's very nice to see you here. Ares in the mid-market. Gets himself 3 kills, maybe another one as well, but Poise's stinger is right there. He's the only player left alive, though. Spike is right in front of him, but there's 2 players there on the cross. He's checking his corners, and he knows at least one is going to be there, perhaps 2. So if he's done that math, but he also is going to be very wary about anyone pushing around flank, too. The Bucky connects, does a lot of damage, and it's Relix's stinger that ends that round. It was going to be hard to from the get-go because they lost that first round, but they made the best of a bad situation at the very least.
And I mean, they opted to force up there, GB. And that's why we saw the stingers. That's why we saw the SMGs, but they weren't able to do anything with it, which now means they need to eco. And that's going to be 3 rounds realistically on the board in their second half for Cloud9, which will put them 10-5 up. And that is a risky force from Homeless. It didn't pay off for them.
No, it did not. I appreciate that they went for it, though. It's a 50-50 gamble. Darn if you do, darn if you don't. Because they lost that round out anyway. Psalm, though. Oh, Psalm gets some damage applied. And Superman went for the poke too. Bucky from downtown, but Psalm's ghost is going to be true. Lands a headshot on 10s. Inside of the trees is Relix. And he'll have that Phantom to go and freely take some pokes and get some shots done. But it's Vice. Vice had his buddies back there. And just look at this. The way that they march through this one. Now Psalm with a weapon. It's a Bucky. Not the best possible gun. 1 HP. But he has a dream. He has a dream here.
1 HP and a dream. If he clutches this, I'll give you $500. All right?
Sure. Sounds good.
I mean, it's a win-win situation for you. I'm not even asking for anything back. I'm that confident.
Yeah, I wouldn't even bet anything. He just got tagged on Sovadar. That's not happening.
Well, if he can get an ult point, at least that's something here.
It's like the shining light.
I mean, watch all 3 of them peek out at the same time and him just just get a 3-click. Oh, imagine.
Well, they won't do that. No, they're going to wait this one out until the final moments.
They know full well he's got a Bucky as well, so they're not going to just push in stupidly. They have Phantoms. They don't want to be throwing away those Phantoms. So
imagine the possibilities.
Endless.
Yeah, they're really endless, man.
But it's going to be 10-5, GB.
You know, there's a timeline where all 3 of them did push, though.
There is. Yeah, and in that alternate universe, I'm a poor man because I paid you $500. 10-5, and things starting to look a little bit scary for Homeless and Cloud9 on the final stretch. But this is going to be the first buy for Homeless now, and we'll get to really see what they can offer on their attacking side.
Dude, I know we said we're going to stop talking about it, but
you're not allowed to say it. I was ignoring it, all right? Just let it happen, and we'll celebrate when he gets his first. When he gets his first, we'll celebrate.
Find their weak.
I hope he does, man. This is not a good look for Lasky at all.
I mean, have we seen a competitive game where someone goes the whole game without any kills? I don't think we have. Certainly not in my memory, anyway.
Casted a lot of Valor, and it's not one that I remember. Lasky's aggressive angle on top of this, and he didn't quite time out that smoke, so who knows? A player could have swung that, but this is an unorthodox place for him to be at the very least. 3 players are going to be stuck outside and mid.
No ultimates
also
yet.
called out. Yep. And now Homeless decides what their attention will be focused on. And it will be the A site.
Oh, which is rough.
43 seconds remaining. Yeah, Tens has the lineup waiting for them around that corner.
And they four-stacked it.
Yeah, and they will need Poise here. Poise has to get a flash off, but he's not with them. Perhaps Lasky's paranoia might connect. He's able to do it. Wall's out though. Tens does not connect with the shot, but he's still going to be located inside of Hell. Still no shot there for Tens, but the presence is certainly going to be felt. Finally gets the connection.
Oh,
Relics is there to help his buddy out. Only 13 seconds remaining. Relics gets himself another kill. This just leaves an option here for Homeless, and I was going to say an option for Vice potentially to try and stall this, but no. And instead it is Homeless that get the round win, but that was looking a little dicey there, Gaskin. Just a touch.
Lasky was so close to his first kill there as well. He sprayed down through the box.
You're putting that evil out there, Dan, and that's the reason why he hasn't been able to get it.
I would never will someone to be 0 and 12. Do not take me for that man, because I want to see Lasky.
Take me for that.
Lasky on Raze is incredible.
Don't you dare put that evil on me.
Like, I've watched this team since group stages, and I love Homeless, right? And Lasky on Raze is amazing, but he just seems to struggle a little bit on the Omen. But they're able to pick up the round. Homeless are. They were able to get going here now on their attacking half. Maybe this can be the start of a little bit of a comeback for them.
So they obtain the intelligence that there is a cipher there. A few more players actually going to back away. Som, though, off screen does get a kill. A site is going to be available to them. Vice was the only one holding that. Look at Lasky. He is still going to be playing mid. I mean, let's just stay with Lasky here because he will be running into Shinobi.
Come on. Come on. Come on.
It's your time, Lasky. It's your time. No. Yes! Yes! Lasky did it! Lasky got the kill. All is right in the world.
Now we can forget the narrative. It doesn't matter. Homeless can now focus on just picking up rounds. Lasky's going to start to play better. That will be such a confidence booster. Memes aside, it's so important for him to just get some kills on the board so he can start to believe in himself. Tens will shut his belief down. His Relics is going to shut down the push as well. And everything has gone south now. As Cloud9 might be able to rescue this round. It looked so good for Homeless, but they're running out of time. It's only going to be Sam.
It was a personal win for Lasky, but an L for Homeless. And it will be 11 rounds now for Cloud9. So close. Oh, Sam might actually get this kill here. Nope. And Mitch does. Mitch is so good. Jeez. I want to be his friend, you know?
Speaking of, David P followed me on Twitter, and I feel like that's a personal victory for me. When we're talking about Sages and how successful they are. Maybe Mitch will follow me and I can have both the Battle Sages on my Twitter. That'll be a small
I don't know why when you say
Gaskin.
Battle Sage, I think of that Alita movie. Yeah. Alita Battle Angel, which was not very good, by the way, but apparently people swear by it. I'm not a particular fan. Oh man, out of the gate.
That's not good.
Out of the gate already. A first blood, man, and they're up 11. This is just... It's an eco round for sure, so they are going to go for whatever they want because they have the freedom to do so. But this is Cloud9 playing with the utmost confidence here. They feel so good.
And I think this is going to be another demonstration of the kind of Sage versus non-Sage discussion we were having, GB. And we were saying how a lot of teams tried the non-Sage, but I feel like Sage is so important. Like, that wall can do so much for you. The slows are so huge as well. Tens takes down Def. And this is looking closer and closer like it's going to be a 12-6. And having Cloud9 on match point, getting them close to the final. Lasky gets his second of the game onto another Omen. He's got a lot to do. TP straight into Shinobi.
He teleported right into Shinobi.
Mm-hmm.
That is an oof. That's an oof. Superman, the last person standing here, and Tens 3 kills for that round. It started off with the first blood, and now Cloud9 is going to be at match point. Wasn't the most jaw-dropping, exciting game, but boy, did Cloud9 show us today that they have the consistency. They have the strats. They've put in the work. This is not the same team that you're seeing play in like Twitch Rivals tournaments. No, this team is really a testament of sticking together and figuring out what works and then playing around each of the strengths and weaknesses of your teammates.
This is Cloud9 making a statement saying, like, why is everyone talking about T1, TSM, Sentinels? Why is no one talking about us as potential winners of this tournament? Because they have the possibility to do so. We have seen that today. Considering Homeless, how they tore apart T1, and now we're seeing Cloud9 do exactly the same back to Homeless. We're seeing such differences in terms of skill level and in terms of possibilities when it comes to how practiced these teams are on certain maps, the executions that are available for them, the defensive ability that they have on certain maps as well. And I really feel like Cloud9 are just gelling more and more every tournament we see them. And now they're going to be rewarded if they can get one more round with a grand final against Sentinels.
Out of charges.
Joke's over.
Here we go. Now the push is going to come in here. Poise makes his way into the side with the run it back now. He's going to just go right through, push this one forward. I respect that play. The run it back, he's not going to die, so you might as well do it, and they'll be able to get that frag. Now the B site's going to be available to them. Watch out on the flank, though, because you're going to have Omen creeping around there. It's Relics. Lasky, though, another kill for him. Maybe get another one here, and wow, what a pop-off from Lasky. And they needed this one sooner, but hey, better late than never. And now it boils down to your last two. Viso with a kill. Only player left alive is Sam. Let's see if the Magician can pull a rabbit out of his hat this time around. He has a lot of HP remaining versus the other side. Omen's going to be tattered. Sam gets the kill, looking for another one, but Sam cannot keep it alive, and the day belongs to Cloud9. They are going to be moving on to the finals here of PAX Arena, and a cursory tactical crouch there to close things out. C9 are your winners.
And I mean, shout out to Rel. He's gone under the radar a little bit in that game, but time and time again, he's been clutching things out, winning his 1v1s, being there to support his team, trading off kills that have gone the other way. And Cloud9 looked so strong. I mean, pretty flawless for the majority of the game. There was a few hiccups that, like here or there, but that's to be expected. No one is going to be perfect. But on the side for Homeless, it is such a shame because it was an amazing story, an amazing run for them, being able to get out of that group with 100 Thieves, taking down 100 Thieves, then going on to beat T1. But Cloud9 were just a little bit too much for them. A tough game for Lasky. I'm going to be completely honest, 4 and 15. I'm glad he did pick up some kills, so we're not looking at like an absolute